Chris and Catherine, oh my goodness, congratulations on your new
Thank you.
business.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're brand new Waxing the City franchisees in Atlanta, Georgia. Very exciting.
We are.
Yep.
And, you know, I really appreciate you spending a minute with me. We've spent many minutes together over the last several months, but you guys experienced something that it's very common, but it's still kind of hard for people to get their minds around. So I appreciate you letting me ask you this question for the benefit of others, which is way back when we first started talking about different opportunities, Waxing the City was one of several. And Catherine, I'm never going to forget your reaction. You were like, oh, like, really?
Yes, it was a big reaction.
And then, you know, into the process, though, you know, you guys changed your perceptions and how you feel about it. And it ultimately ended up being the business that you want to be in. And so I'm just hoping, can we talk a little bit about that? Just, you know, what that experience was for you? Like, how did you go from, like, she's forcing us to look at this business to getting excited?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, so yeah, I'll start. I'll say that for me, I didn't have quite the reaction as Catherine, but in my head, I was having a similar reaction. And I think what I kept trying to remind myself is the advice you gave us early on, which was keep an open mind, go through the process. And honestly, the simple answer to how we got here is we went through the process. We followed it from beginning to end. We didn't let our emotions or things that we thought we might be most interested in drive us in any direction. We just really followed the process, followed the data. And I think we're pretty analytical about the way we approached it. And at the end of the day, that really kind of led itself to get to a place where we couldn't imagine being, but it's exactly where we ended up being, and we couldn't be more excited. So I don't know, Catherine, if you would add to that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we, like he said, just follow the process. And I kept what you said in my mind that, you know, don't make any preconceived assumptions. And also just throughout the process of learning about franchising for the first time, realizing that we don't necessarily need to pick a franchise that is something that we would actually want to do as a job or even a place that we would frequent. It really came down to the numbers for us and the organization and the corporate culture and things like that made us feel like Waxing the City was our best opportunity to meet our financial goals, which is why we got into this in the first place, to you know, looking towards our future and where we want to be in 5 to 10 years and the amount of work that we want to be doing and the type of work that we want to be doing. So again, you know, we just stayed focused and followed your directions to the very end and got where we needed to be.
Yep.
And I'm so thankful to you for sharing that, because that's hard to do, isn't it? We have, you know, our instinctive reactions to things. And sometimes if we could just push pause on those instincts, even for just a little while, and learn what there is to learn, it can really open our eyes to something that's quite different maybe than what we originally perceived it to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you remember, so when you had that first call with them, what was it that started to turn your mind? Was it something that you heard about the corporate office? Was it a data point? Was it just do you recall what was it that specifically that kind of had you say, maybe this is something that we want to learn more about? Do you recall what it was?
I will say, you know, kudos to the person we worked with at Self-Esteem Brands. He was just an incredibly engaging person, almost to the point that we were sort of questioned, is that really what they're like? Or are they going to, you know, pull the curtain aside and we're going to see what's behind the curtain? But we were, from our very first call, the enthusiasm that their employees have for the company just kind of jumped off the screen. And we could tell that it was the type of corporate culture that we were looking for. We felt like we would be supported if we purchased a franchise. So it was just, there was just so much energy that it made us want to learn more. And as we continued to learn more, you know, what we were seeing appeared to be true. And we just continued to learn more and more that led us to our final decision.
Yeah, and I think for me, it was really Self-Esteem Brands that even wanted me to take the call. I was familiar with Anytime Fitness, and so understood what size of a franchisor they were. And so even in that first call, you started to get a sense of the type of support you could expect from a franchisor of that scale. And so, yeah, I mean, Catherine, I think hit the nail on the head, but that really was Self-Esteem Brands and the amount of support and organizational structure and culture that you get from them is really was kind of that first thing that had us think maybe there's something there that we're not thinking about.
And I'll underscore that when you look at franchise opportunities, equally, if not important to the business, the industry, is the franchisor behind it. So if you look at the franchise model, it's the horse and the jockey is the franchisor. And in my viewpoint, the jockey is just as important, like I said, if not more important than the horse in this race.
Yeah.
That was definitely something that we considered pretty heavily with financials. I felt like we kind of, we're looking at financials first. But then also across the different franchises that we were comparing and looking at the time, we were able to get insight into their kind of internal applications and support that they offered each franchisee. And that was really interesting in the process as well, as far as making our decision is, if you give it time and you move through the process all the way to the end and you talk to every single person that you're supposed to talk to, you just get a full picture of what they offer, for every aspect of running your business.
And now you've moved from the choosing phase into the doing phase, which is a whole new phase of excitement and learning opportunities. And I'm thrilled that you guys are already diving in and getting immersed in that. And so I can't wait to come to your grand opening. So
thank you. Yeah, we're excited.
Well, guys, thank you so much for sharing about your experience. It'll help a whole lot of people. And I'm thrilled for you that you did something that's hard, which is to kind of suspend initial judgment, being open to learning, and are going to reap the benefits of that. So kudos to you guys for that as well.
Thank you. And thanks for all your support during this process.
Yes, we couldn't have done it without you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. All right. Congratulations. Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.